Whatever happened to vlogs?
Not that you're watching one right now, I just want to show you some editing tricks, but I am traveling to New York today, so I vlogged it.
It used to be an important part of the features I talk about in my camera reviews, like how good is it at vlogging. Now I'm not sure there's much reason to use anything other than your phone, or I'm recording this on the Osmo Pocket.
But why am I traveling, and how am I stitching this into one long take? What's happening in New York?
Don't worry, I'll tell you about it in a sec. I just wanted to try out this new editing technique, and I've got a flight to catch first.
And the flight from Calgary to New York takes about 4 hours, and back in the vlogging days, half the fun of travel was recording a rapid-fire montage of the journey.
These days, I'd much rather just watch a movie or get some editing done.
I wanted to take that old concept, still use it, but give it a fresh spin.
So I thought, what if instead I stitch all of those traveling clips together into one long take?
After a very long day of traveling, it's time to sit down at the computer, put all the clips together, and I'll show you how it's done. All right, now let me explain how to do this. So here's my final project inside of Final Cut Pro. It does not matter which editing software you use, but you'll notice there are a lot of shots in here, and this is a video that I don't think you could do without some planning. So you can't just jump into it and hope that it works out. As you can see, I did a bunch of tests ahead of time to make sure that it would work technically. And I did have to plan out all the details and what I was going to say, otherwise I don't think it would have come together. I thought an important part of the transitions is while the AI is playing, I would use the voiceover to kind of distract the audio. Like, you need audio to be going throughout it. So that is kind of guiding the viewer along. But here are the basics. I'm shooting things selfie style and intentionally keeping the frame pretty similar between each shot. You can see I don't need to be in the exact same part of the frame, that's okay, but I do need to cut off just as I finish talking and make sure that at the end of each shot, I have a pretty neutral face. You'll see why that matters in a moment. So now my basic travel vlog is edited together. I need to add the transitions. To do that, I'm gonna head over to Artlist. They are sponsoring this video, and they're the reason I'm here in New York. It's the first time Artlist has had a big event like this, so I had a feeling it was going to be something good. They started with showcasing their new AI toolkit, which we're going to be using in this video, but then the big shocker was their preview for Artlist Studio. They're planning a complete end-to-end production pipeline with control over casting, location, props, lenses, camera movement, all of it in one place. They talked a bit about how they've been using their tools internally for their own marketing, how much more they've been able to do with it, and wrapped up with a panel discussion about the state of creative AI. The whole event and discussions with some of the creators there gave me a lot to think about, and we'll have to wait a little bit longer for some of these features, but for now, let's take a closer look at the new AI toolkit. I've showed you some of these transition techniques in my previous videos, but the tool set available in Artlist now is so much bigger than it was before. You can see there's a complete redesign here. And let's say I wanted to start with a generated image. I can click right here. And when I open up the models, there are so many to choose from. And very helpfully, it tells you what features each of them have. So Nano Banana has 4K, and Artlist Original 1.0 has styles. Let's try something on brand for the trip, the New York skyline. And it comes out in fantastic quality. And this is all trained on Artlist's own collection, so it's coming from their original material. We could change the style to cinematic or commercial, and you get some really fast and reliable results. But my favorite part is over here on the left. This is the sessions where you can organize everything you're shooting. So let's go into the session for this project. You can see all of the videos that I've generated. I can click up here in the top right for compact view, so I can really see everything I've done at one time. And now let's go through the steps to recreate some of these shots. So first, I need to have the images that I'm going to use as sources to generate these. So I'm going to switch back to Final Cut Pro, and I'm going to scrub through my timeline and make sure that I'm on the last frame of the first shot. I'm going to export this one and call it Clip 2 First. Now that we have all our frames, we're going to go back to Artlist AI Toolkit, switch to Generate Video because we already have our photos. And down here, you can choose from all of the different models available. A lot of these are really powerful. Today, we're mostly going to use Kling 2.5 Turbo Pro. After I figured out my prompt, I know that it looks good. I also use Kling 01 Pro. That's the most modern Kling model. It does a great job too, but I just don't want to spend all those credits until I'm sure that my prompt makes sense, because that can take a couple tries. So Kling 2.5 Turbo Pro, that's where we're going to start. Also take note, while we're looking at all the models, they say what they can do. So for example, VO 3.1 Fast also has a start in M frame. So does VO 3.1, Kling 1.6, CDance 1.5 Pro. All of those will support this type of transition where you're using a start and end frame, so you can experiment between these different models. Here is where we select those start and end frames. So I'm going to upload my image, start with clip 1 last, Then our end frame is going to be clip 2 first. And now here's where you need to get creative. I wanted this first transition to be a little more subtle and somewhat realistic. So the first generations don't really work. Like magic is happening in the background. You can also see my hair's transforming, so I hadn't flipped the clip at this point. I didn't really want that kind of look. So after a few different iterations, I found I was getting the most realistic results when I was using prompts like the man turns around a corner and finds himself in a new place. So if you just click on it, you can see all the settings that I use down here. And also once you choose one, I think it's not only worth downloading it, obviously you're gonna have to edit it into your video, but also add it to your favorites. This just makes it easier to find later so you can kind of like manage your project. Now this seated transition I had to get more creative with. Like I had this idea of crashing through the floor. I wanted like to flip backwards, but it was really difficult to describe it in a way that looked realistic enough. I mean, you know, it's not gonna be real, but I couldn't quite get it to fit. So what I ended up doing, I mean, this one was so close. Like I just wanted to descend down, but keep my face in frame. But you can also see my face starts to warp in it. Same with this one, like as I turn my face, my nose changes. That's why it's important that the first and last frames have very neutral expressions and you can see your face clearly, because all the AI understands about the way that you look is from one frame. Like that photo will reconstruct a whole video. So you need to look like yourself or it's going to get confused in between. I started getting more realistic results once I started having more natural movement. So I was just saying, he sits in the chair, settles in, pulls a lever and the chair rides forward like a roller coaster. And this part's important. The camera stays locked on him until he comes to a stop on the airplane. You need to describe that camera movement as well, especially if it's making a mistake. It doesn't necessarily want to follow vlog style. It doesn't know I'm holding the camera in front of myself. So I did have to keep it locked to have that perceived change. Then I also generated some using the VO3 models, not because it does transitions well, it actually has a bit of a problem with it, but it generates audio. So then I'd have a few extra sound effects that I could insert later. But then for the rest of my sound effects, I went into the stock catalog on Artlist, SFX. This is where I always grab my sound effects. They've just got a huge archive of like explosions and transitions and just things that are easy to insert into your video. One more thing I was aware of and included in my planning is I knew that I couldn't wear my backpack on the airplane seat. And I also knew that AI would have trouble taking it off. So I made sure to actively take it off in a real shot so that it wouldn't struggle with me figuring that out. I needed to look the same in each shot so the AI didn't have to change my outfit. Then you can see I did it again here. I took my backpack off and intentionally put it back on so that that would all work out. Once my transitions are downloaded, it's as easy as dragging them into my video editor. And if you saw my last video about similar transitions where I used more speed ramps, it was a little crazier, like more dramatic. There was something that I missed explaining, so I wanted to circle back to it here because it's important. You'll see that as I flick back and forth, it's the same start and end frame. There's a bit of a color shift. We're going to fix that. But there's actually a duplicate here, right? Like if I just play this through, you'll see a little stutter. It stops just for a moment as it plays both of those matching frames. So I need to take off one frame from the beginning of the AI, then I go to the end, we got another stutter there, and take off one frame from the end. Very important, I forgot to mention it last time. So if you do watch that other video, which will be linked at the end of this video, keep that in mind. Once you know which transitions you're gonna use and you're happy with them, you're gonna wanna click upscale. That will generate a 4K version because these are all currently 1080. I was shooting at 4K, you want everything to match. Another feature in the AI toolkit that was helpful is negative prompt. So you'll notice at the end of this, I start to talk. I have no audio for that talking, like it won't line up with anything. So instead of saying he does not talk, you can click negative prompt and it's just list what you want to exclude from your video. And I'm going to say talking. And by the way, if you want to try out any of this stuff, you've got to check out Artlist's new tools. The link is down below, so it lets them know that you found it here. I just love this blending of reality and AI. It's much more interesting than just generating from scratch to me. I'm always looking for new ways to bring the real world together using AI. So if you know any other tricks, let me know down in the comments below. Once all your transitions are in, we need to blend them together a little bit more so you can see the color shifts between them. Here's the old clip, new clip. We need to get them to match. So I'm going to open up my color wheels. Generally, it's the same thing I need to do to each clip. It's bringing the midtones down a bit. It's a helpful time to bring up your scopes because you jump back and forth, you can see the exact difference between them. Midtones are still too high. Now let's add some of the finishing touches. The way I like to do this in Final Cut is by adding an adjustment clip. This is also called an adjustment layer in some other programs. And this is just kind of an invisible layer that goes over top of our entire video. And on top of that, I'm going to add a custom LUT. This just adds a little bit of a film look. I'm going from my iPhone pack here and I'm going to use Stalman Film 03. It's one of my favorites. I use it all the time. If you want to pick them up for yourself, you can go to stalman.com/shop. And I'm going to turn that down to about 50, 60%. Now the real finishing touch that you don't have to do, this one's optional, but I think it helps, is adding a little bit of motion blur. So I'm going to use Revision Effects RSMB, and you can see it in action here. Basically when there's a lot of motion in the frame, it'll add natural motion blur, similar to if you were using an ND filter. And that's it. That's what it takes to create one long connected shot using AI to stitch it all together. I hope that was helpful, guys. I did another video with some pretty crazy transitions using a similar technique, so I can go over some of these same steps, but it's so much better now with Artlist's new AI tools. Check them out. Link is down in the description below. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.